Happy Homebrew Wednesday. We're going to pour ourselves a beer. So this one here is the very last bottle of the sober beer, which is Smoked Oak Bourbon Red. This was brewed like a year ago. I think August, the end of August last year. September time. This is the very last bottle, and I wanted to see what it was like. Every time I open the Keezer, I've got it in there. I can see it. And I think, I wonder what it's going to be like. So I think this is the day. I think this is the time. It is a year old, after all. So this beer, nice hiss, considering it wasn't properly carbonated when I bottled it first time, and I had to open up all the caps and put sugar in, if you recall. It was a bit of a disaster, really. So this beer, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Ooh. Holy God. Okay. Can someone run and get me another? Can someone run and get me another bottle so I don't have to move? Oh. Okay, that's not good. There's one up there. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's do this really gently. It's well carbonated. So after going from not really being carbonated at all, it is now very well carbonated. It has been sitting there for a year though, to be fair. And it is bottle conditioned. It is keg conditioned and bottle conditioned. Just be gentle. I feel like my hands. Oh, you know what? Frig it. Frig it. This is really not going very well. It was worth waiting for. Okay. These are probably not the best glasses to be doing. That's definitely a lager glass. Look at that. Oh my God. Yeah, I should have got the Guinness glass, but it's away over there. Ugh. Anyway, we'll just let that settle, okay? I'll let the ice cream float, melt a bit. So yeah, so this is Smoked Oak Bourbon Red. This is basically Red X malt. It's a red beer. It's got smoked malt in it. It's got bourbon in it, and it's got oak chips in it as well. 6.6%. It did not turn out as I thought. It was a bit of an experiment. Just kind of threw it together for Christmas. Did not turn out like I imagined it would. It actually turned out accidentally as like a Flanders Red. That's the best way I could describe it. It had this little kind of sour note to it, but it also had a lot of kind of other real kind of, probably the Red X malt. It was bringing lots of kind of flavour to the party. The smoked malt as well, which then faded, of course. I mean, how am I supposed to get into that? Come on. You can get a little touch of the smoke. Okay. That's definitely the wrong glass for that. Christ almighty. So yeah, to cut a long story short, didn't turn out as I expected, and I'm not sure whether that was to do with the recipe, whether it was to do with the fact that I keg conditioned it, and then I had a nightmare when I was bottling it. It went all foamy, that's what it was. And then I had to open after bottling off the keg, I had to open all the bottles, which weren't very many because I lost half the batch, I think. And I had to put in like sugar. So it was a bit of a disaster, the whole thing. It doesn't have, it had this kind of weird sweet and sour quality to it before, which kind of made me think that it was like a Flanders Red. It doesn't taste like that anymore. It is a bit like a Belgian beer though. The yeast was not a Belgian yeast either. It was M42 New World yeast. But I think it's maybe just the kind of malts that are in there is making that taste a bit like a Belgian beer. Anyway, for the last bottle, it's not bad. Obviously, if I had got the right glassware, I think a lot of that could have been avoided. But we will wait to drink the other one. So, a couple of things I want to talk about. One is the Keezer, because I let you see inside last week, and then I just basically ordered a new tap for it. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit. The other thing is the hops out the back. So I always grow hops every year. This year the hops have been growing. Had a bit of a disaster though with them. And by disaster I mean we had a couple of break-ins, not from burglars but from animals. Actually, I think they were cows. I'm pretty sure they were cows, like calves. Because one time I actually caught one in the garden. So the first time happened pretty early on, and all the hops got stamped on. You could see like the kind of small hoof prints in the soil. So that wasn't too bad because it was early on. Then about maybe a month later, maybe less, I went out round there. I looked out the window and I could see there was like turds. There was a load of turds sitting outside my car, which is parked out the side. And they're too big to be like a dog, and they're too small to be like an adult kind of cow or bull or anything like that. So it must have been the bloody calves again. So whenever I went around to the hops, one of the hop plants had completely disappeared. Maybe it got eaten or something by the cow. And the other one, I've got 4 now, and the other 3 actually got trampled on again. One was so badly trampled that it was gone. So basically I've had 2 plants, and one of them has been okay. The other one, I don't even see any cones on it. But I've got like 1 plant at least that is producing cones. I'm going to be picking them probably next weekend, I think, and then we will maybe chuck them in a beer. I'm going to try and be brewing next weekend as well. And I'll just add them with something else. There's actually hops. There's a bush away up the road that I found with like wild hops. So potentially we could use that in a beer. I don't know about doing like a 20-litre batch, but maybe like a small kind of mini brew, 10 litres or something like that, and use that. So that's an option. But yeah, the hops have just not been, it's been a disaster this year, which is a shame because the weather has been tremendous. And if we had got, if they had been growing right from the start, I think we probably could have got an awful lot of stuff off it, even more than last year, and last year was fantastic. So, but you know, it's always the way. There's something goes wrong. So the Keezer. So I'm looking people's opinions, and should really post this up on Facebook. But I want to do something with Keezer. So I'll take you over and show you. So yeah, as I was saying, I've got a new tap for this. I need a fit. It's in the house. I haven't bothered fitting it yet. So when I was buying that, I also want to get, see, one of these. This is like a female adapter for the shank, goes on to the end of the shank. And I wanted to get one of them because it broke on me when I was tightening it up one time, and I've been using a metal one. It's not as good. In fact, I think it leaks, that Jubilee clip. It's probably to blame. So yeah, but then they were sold out of this one. Sorry, this one here, which is 3/8. So the way it's set, and the way I've got it set up here is it comes out as 3/8. It then goes into 3/16, and there's like 2 or 3 meters worth of wire. Then it goes into that fitting there, which turns it back into 3/8, and then it goes into the top. Now they didn't have any of the 3/8 one like this, which I was looking. What they did have was one that was 3/16. So it's like I can basically go all the way 3/16 and then connect it into that. I don't know what that would be like. I don't know why I'm even set up like this. I think the whole point was so it wouldn't be foamy, but I don't know if this would be better if it was getting 3/16. If anyone has using 3/16 straight into the top, let me know what it's like. Now the reason I would like to do that in here is because I've got obviously the tops mounted right in the middle, okay, because I thought that was probably the best place for them from the outside. But from the inside, you can see with this Keezer, I can get 4 in, and you can get 2 at the back, 1 at the front. I can change all 3 of them, no problem, but this one here is always a problem, and I need to take off these connectors here in order to get that out. So if that was 3/16 going straight into there, then you know you could have it like that, which would be down here, and I don't know if it'll go in or not, but it might be better. I haven't given up on just doing a whole new collar on it and refitting the taps. I was considering maybe putting the taps on the side. There's a bit of space there, but I don't know if I can get 4 taps in there, or maybe 2 taps there. And the question is, what do you do over here? I'm not sure if that fits all the way down there or not. So yeah, we have things to think about. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is that I can live with having to take that off or pulling one of those out to get this out. I can live with that. What I'm really not liking anymore is the way I have these gas lines on these taps set up. The gas lines, this kind of hard material, hard whatever that is, so it doesn't really bend much more than that. The way it's set up, and that's just purely because that's just the way I did it originally. It's coming in from there and then it's coming across, and I'm wondering, is there a better way of doing that? Is it better for me to do it kind of like this with the elbows, so it's not so bad? So maybe do an elbow there coming across to this, to this, to this. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm looking kind of, anyone who's done anything like this and has managed to get a tidy Keezer. Is every Keezer just a tip like this? And obviously I've color coordinated them, so I know which one goes there. I probably need to do the same for the tops, because sometimes it's just you have no idea. And at the minute I'm using a party tap. There it is there for the number 4, because obviously this isn't working, and yeah, it's just a mess. It's a complete mess. Anytime you want to put kegs in as well, so you're having to take everything out and pull everything out, put it over there, put the kegs in and all. It would be nice if it was just tidier. And the beer line, because you need to do like 2 or 3 meters worth, it's difficult to keep it tidy, and then it just ends up sitting like that. And because I don't trust it anymore and I keep them off all the time, which doesn't help, then obviously it makes it even more messy, like that there. I mean, just a disaster. So yeah, I'm looking a bit of advice, please. If anyone has any kind of good ideas about what I can do to tidy it up and to not have, like, every time I lift it up my heart sinks because it's like wires everywhere. And how the hell do we sort out Spaghetti Junction in there and get rid of all those kind of beer lines? Obviously you need beer lines, but I mean, there must be a better way of doing it, right? I mean, surely to God. This is 2022. We're living in the future. There must be a better way of doing this. Surely. So please, if anyone has any better ideas, let me know. I mean, obviously Facebook is probably the best way of doing this, because then you can put up pictures and stuff. And it probably will post something on Facebook. The 6.6 beer, 6.6% beer, is really starting to kick in. It was okay. It wasn't the same as it was before. The sweet and sour thing's just not there anymore. Now it's just kind of, it just tastes like a Belgian beer. So weirdly it went from being a Flanders Red, which is Belgian beer, to being like a double, triple, which is a Belgian beer. So how it got to that, why it got to that, I have absolutely no idea. But okay, I'm gonna go because I'm starting to ramble. I'm getting really drunk really quickly, and this is really kicking in. So happy Homebrew Wednesday. I'll see you next week. Cheers. I'm enjoying it all the same. So cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. I'll see you next week with a, yeah, well, that's not promising. For fuck's sake. I'm gonna have to do that again. What was I saying?